On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Well, Putin needs to either crap or get off the pot. That's what it comes down to. And I think Trump is going about this in a slightly different direction now, which is, all right, let's poke fun at, well, we'll call him the bear, but really the paper tiger is what Trump called him. But let's go ahead and poke at him a little bit. Let's kind of make fun of the fact that it's taken him this long to get this far. Like, come on, man, really? 3.5 years? What? I'm not impressed, and none of us are. And Trump's even gone so far as to suggest that maybe, just maybe, Ukraine could win this war with the help of Europe, and certainly in the help of NATO. And Trump was very smart to remind them that we're happy to sell you weapons, NATO. You guys have fun. Enjoy the war. Sounds like we don't want to be a part of it. We got a lot to talk about. There is something concerning going on. For those of you that have been sitting under a rock, I want to address that. But first, we're going to start at this rather sort of funny place. Pay close attention to the picture of President Biden. I guess I can talk over this. I assume there's stairs or something because I don't know why they go up. But meh, never been there. First time, Donald. Oh, Mr. Autopen. President Autopen. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And the ferocious prison picture. Yeah, kind of funny. Anyways, yeah, we gotta love the commander-in-chief that we currently have. He is good stuff. All right, here's where getting into a bit of a cautionary tale. We are in a place right now where the assets have been turned on. Assets have been activated. There are many people out there right now that are just waiting to be triggered, already planning stuff. There's any events that are happening that are public in the area where certain conservatives might tend to show up. Churches. One thing I want to remind and warn, and this is really more to my lady friends out there, dudes generally are better at this, but guys, pay attention too. I was just thinking about this morning, and you should always do this. But wherever you go where there are gatherings, make sure you know where emergency exits are, where you could go if someone came in the front door shooting. Always have a plan. Always. We are not at a place anymore where we can just take things for granted. Might not happen where you're at. I'm just saying always be prepared. It's much like you want to have Second Amendment stuff. You want to have food. You want to have water. Probably should have some silver just in case. Want some backup batteries, some candles, all those kinds of things, right? If you're, Diddy, you want some baby oil. But make sure you've got the essentials. And make sure you're paying attention. This is actually an incredible article. Democrats gaslight the nation as their midterm election prospects fade. The process of gaslighting is not limited to abusive personal relationships. It can also happen between groups of people, right? We all understand how gaslighting works. First, they did it with BLM and Antifa riots, dealing out around $2 billion in property damage in cities across the U.S., injuring thousands of police officers and killing dozens of innocent bystanders. Conservatives and moderates stood back for the most part until the Kyle Rittenhouse incident in August 2020, when leftists sought to prosecute the young man for defending himself from a mob that was trying to murder him. When they falsely labeled him a racist and a terrorist, the line was crossed. Those who track BLM and Antifa will note a steep drop-off in activity after August of 2020, just before the elections. Democrats then claimed that the protests were not violent at all. They were fiery, but mostly peaceful, and anyone who opposed them must be a racist. They did it during the pandemic lockdowns, relentlessly driving forward with the idea of perpetual mandates and calling for the government to force conservatives to comply with vaccinations, using vaccine passports, economic leverage, and even legal repercussions. They accused conservatives as domestic terrorists threatening democracy. They've joyfully canceled numerous conservatives and moderate commentators, erasing them from social media. They cheered for the silencing and censorship, using COVID as an excuse to silence their political opponents. Again, 55% of Dems wanted to fine unvaxxed Americans. 59% wanted to confine unvaxxed Americans to their homes. 48% imprison those who question vax. 47% favor government tracking for unvaxxed. 29% favor removing kids from unvaxxed parents. Once again, as talk of civil war began to spread like wildfire across the web, and it became clear that the American citizens were not going to continue down the path of censorship and medical tyranny, suddenly the Democrats backed away. Then they claimed conservatives were exaggerating the circumstances of the mandates. In other words, the abuses of power never happened. In recent months, there has been a string of politically motivated mass shootings, all perpetrated by leftist assailants, and once again, the public is being gaslit. Democrats made these attacks possible after 10 years of carefully crafted hysteria. The constant lies about conservative fascism have created a generation of mental patients organized and weaponized by the Democratic Party and Antifa-related groups. The same people widely and openly celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk are now calling for a tone shift from Donald Trump and Republicans. They say Trump's rhetoric is irresponsible, and that's what the country needs now, is to unify. But is it possible to unify with people that want to destroy you and everything you believe in? Though perhaps half joking, Trump's speech at the Charlie Kirk Memorial injected somber reality into the face of the calls for peace and kumbaya, and I thought this was powerful. Well, again, there's more to go, but this is a good stepping stone.
In that private moment on his dying day, we find everything we need to know about who Charlie Kirk truly was. He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent.
And again, I love Donald Trump. It did make me sort of realize that maybe Trump is not as spiritually evolved as some of us had assumed. Maybe. But I don't see how you can say hate, but needless to say, whatever. You guys know me. I'm a little crazy. It's cool. It's important to remember that a majority of Democrats in Congress refused to support a resolution rejecting political violence, and Democrats refused to allow a moment of silence in Congress just after Kirk's death. The left has long used violence to push the Overton window to the side of the political spectrum, to their side of the political spectrum. And each time the populace reacts with anger and calls for a response, the left slinks back to the shadows and accuses people of perpetuating division. CNN recently noted in their polling that Democrats are in a world of freaking hurt right now. We're only going to play about 3 minutes of this.
While President Trump's approval rating remains underwater, a new poll shows that most Americans, though, still trust Republicans over Democrats on and handling some major issues. CNN's Harry Anton. Mary depends on your perspective, I guess.
I am not married.
I said Mary as in happy. Anyway, let's talk about this. What do you think?
Yeah, what are we seeing? You know, Donald Trump being underwater, Democrats saying, oh, this guarantees us we're going to fly high in midterms. Let me tell you, this guarantees you nothing, because at this particular point, the Democrats are the New Orleans Saints of political parties. What are we talking about? Trust the Dems or GOP more on the economy? Who leads on the economy? Republicans by 7. Immigration, Republicans by 13. How about crime? A big issue for Donald Trump and the Republicans. Look at that. Lead by 22 points. So the bottom line is this. At this particular point, the ball may be on the ground, but the Democrats have not picked up the ball and running with it. If anything, at this particular point, it's the Republicans who are running with the ball on the top issues, the economy, immigration, and crime.
Give some context on this. Compare this when Republicans last took the House.
Yeah, let's compare it back to 2022. I think this kind of gives away the game right here. Okay, the GOP is more trusted than the Dems on the economy. It was 12 points in 2022. Slight decline in that lead, but still 7 points. How about immigration? It was Republicans by 3 back in 2022. Look at this. The Republican lead's actually gone up by 10 points. What are you doing, Democrats? My goodness gracious. And on crime, time, the Republicans were up by 13, and now they're up by 22. The lead, again, expanding by nearly double digits. So whatever Democrats are doing, it ain't working, Kate. It ain't working. Republicans have the lead on all three issues.
What's the reason that you are finding so far that's driving this?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's all about the center of the electorate, right? You win with independents, you win overall. And what do we see right here among independents? Republicans still have a point lead on the economy. They got a 10-point lead on immigration. They got a 21-point lead on crime. The bottom line is, when you look at these numbers, Democrats should call their offices, because at this particular point, even if Republicans, or even if the public doesn't like what Donald Trump is doing, they ain't necessarily liking what Democrats are doing. And it ain't just a referendum on one party. You actually have to go out and beat that party at this particular point. Democrats are not able to beat Republicans. They still
and again, this isn't as Donald Trump came into office. These are numbers from this month.
These are numbers from September of 2025. We still find that the Republicans leading on all three of these issues. And of course, this economy will be the key. If Democrats are going to win, they're going to have to likely win on the economy. At this particular point among independents, you see that 1-point lead for Republicans. And overall, at least according to the Washington Post, they hold a 7-point lead on the economy overall as well.
Thank you.
And we know the economy, well, anybody that's out there, because first off, economies are confusing, and a lot of people don't fully understand them. Big part of why the economy is the one that people don't actually see all the amazing stuff Trump's doing. Trump's actually setting us up beautifully. We are going to be one of the only countries that's literally going to survive this coming problem, and it's because of what Trump's been doing. So economy, again, am I an expert? No, but I did take a year of it in college. I took macro and micro. I loved it. Economy was, first off, it was an easy class. I enjoyed the hell out of it. So I do have a basic good understanding of economy. And again, we're moving in a direction. The world it's transitioning. And to put it simply, I mean, the deep state's losing power. They've controlled the banking system. That's all coming to an end to a degree. Now, how and what and where, and we'll see. We'll see how all these things work out. That's way above my pay grade. Way above. My job's just to kind of carry a flashlight and point at stuff, which I do often. Now, so again, be careful was one of the keys, right? We have the rhetoric has been amped up. And again, people are getting busted. I think I've got some examples, but people are getting busted. They're posting online stuff. They're actually, people are getting busted now when they SWAT. People are actually getting busted now when they do things against our side. So we're seeing a change. And every time, be happy, one of these people's taken off the street. And as sad as it is, there's a whole lot of people that have such strong Trump derangement syndrome that they went Tylenol crazy while pregnant. And I pray to all of you guys that your children are born safe. And I know most of you believe there's no chance of anything happening, but even Tylenol recommends not to take their products when you're pregnant. I'll get there. I have proof. Suspect in the Sacramento ABC station shooting left a note behind, prosecutors are saying. See if I can find the actual note part. There's obviously a left-leaning motive. This dude is... it had something to do with... crap, I lost it. It's up here. A handwritten note connected the suspect. Said, there it is. Fox hiding Epstein and ignoring red flags. Do not support Patel, Bongino, AG Bondi, sick. They're next. CK from above. So this dude was planning on striking others. And they caught him. They caught him alive, too, which is pretty cool. Not as lucky in all cases. Texas deputies arrested an armed suspect who allegedly set up an ambush for cops. Literally set up, had an AK, it looks like. At least some sort of platform with a very curved magazine like that. And they called basically for service in the middle of the night, expecting people to show up, cops, and started shooting at him. Fortunately, his first few shots missed because he's obviously not very good. It's like some people. And then his gun jammed. So obviously he doesn't even take good care of his firearms. But his gun jammed. He couldn't unjam it. And that was it. And the cops caught him. And so fortunately nobody died. But here is another crazy person doing crazy things. Careful. Columbus, Georgia. Suspected gunman fired shots into an Amazon facility in the West Georgia city of Columbus and died after a brief standoff with police, supposedly shot himself. I don't know who this individual was, but he opened fire in an Amazon facility. One would assume that he worked there and got laid off, or, man, I get pissed when my package doesn't show up on time. I'll tell you what, I'm somewhat being facetious. I'm sorry, because it's probably too soon. Tracking future Humberto and Imelda, or Umberto, I guess. H's are just there for fun, make us think of soccer. Soccer for most of the world, or football for those of us, that think uprights, right? So either way, you got it covered. The H is king. King, I say. So there's 2 potential hurricanes. We've got extremely warm waters going on down here. We have got 2 storms that one seemed to have formed somewhere over here, whether sort of intentional or not. One seems to be formed over here, whether intentional or not. Do we have video?
First, this has a 90% chance of developing. It looks like this system is going to stay offshore, go around this high, as we've been seeing with every system this season, and stay offshore, of course, impacting Bermuda and also giving some wave action. But we really want to focus on this system that has a chance of development of 80% for us. But yes, that high pressure is in play, but the trough is going to be a bigger player. So the real question is, how close does this get to the coast as the trough pulls it in? And then does the bigger trough come in enough time to really push it out to sea? That's something that we're going to continue to watch here as it goes into warm water. And obviously, chances for development are a little bit higher for us as the system goes northbound. Right now, it's kind of weak. Steering currents are also pretty weak with this system. So we're going to watch it closely. But a lot of models have this going towards the southeast coast. And our next 2 names are Umberto and Imelda. We might be checking those names off the list.
Enormous.
Yeah, that scared the crap out of me. So we have a situation where we have a storm that is forming, one that they seem to be trying to drive into. So I'm kind of speculating here, guys, but so far we've had 2 storms that have skirted up the coast. And we've got the same situation kind of set up right now. They've got this high pressure system, and the way weather works, it's high pressure, low pressure into high pressure, or actually really low pressure is where the storms are at. And high pressure and low pressure don't necessarily like each other, but they create weather. The 2 existing in proximity in any way, shape, or form, they affect each other. And so again, I'm not a weather expert, just doing my best to how I sort of understand it as a layperson. I think they've still maybe got some abilities to modify some, or at least activate stuff. I mean, this is supposed to be a hurricane season, so this just could be somewhat natural too, but nobody believes in natural anymore, so whatever. I'm wondering if the technology is truly in our hands. All they got to do is try to steer these away. There's no reason for hurricanes necessarily to hit land. I mean, there is this concept of rain and the baptismal effect, but storms are a lot of energy, and a lot of the storms that are created actually are probably more from anger on this planet. And I think as we subdue a lot of that, we probably honestly will see some less severe weather. As crazy as that sounds, I will be proven correct, well, probably in the future. I mean, I'm sure of it, but law of confusion, right? You guys don't have to believe that. That's crazy talk. What the hell is Dan saying? So be careful, guys, is my point. There are a lot of people out there that want to do harm. Now, this is going to be kind of again, if you're going to be like someone like Charlie Kirk, I'm not going to lump myself into that because, I don't see myself doing a lot of public stuff. First off, I don't anyway. I've only done one thing, and I'm usually pretty, tight-lipped about it whenever I do it. The one thing I was talked about it incessantly, so... We'll see. We'll see how things play out over the next period of time. The thing we were talking about doing publicly as far as me is we're looking spring of next year, maybe, thinking possibly Ohio, possibly Florida. Got a couple options in mind. So we're thinking 2 different places. We'll see. We'll see where we line up. That all said, right now and over the next month and a half, 2 months, and we'll see if it crescendos or what, but this is... the boomerang's coming back to a degree, but it doesn't mean we stay peaceful. We defend the line. We hold the line and we defend the line, which is the house, your home. Defend that. Don't go out looking for trouble. Trouble doesn't need extra help. It's going to do fine all on its own. They're going to have a lot of people are being triggered right now against federal buildings because of ICE and stuff. This is sort of being done on purpose. It's being done knowing that assets just can't resist themselves and they will go towards the light like a moth, right? And so Trump is setting up these bright cities Chicago and stuff like that. And they're going to do ICE stuff. When they run in to do ICE stuff, we tend to see protests, and we tend to see riots, and we tend to see people throwing rocks at stuff, right? And attacking buildings. Well, it allows us to round up a whole bunch of people. And while we're there, we're able to see networks and how they work and the communication structure. They can see all this shit. They don't tell us any of this stuff, and they never, ever show it as evidence because they don't want us to know what they can do. It's why nothing's ever deleted on the internet. It's why none of the deleted shit has come forward to the public, ever, right? Not one time. Can you think of one time where deleted information suddenly made its way? Now, there is something cool Congress is doing right now where they're trying to get the original information that's been deleted from the places that created the information initially. But there's a lot of things they won't be able to create, like the January 6th stuff I was talking about specifically. So has anything ever shown up? Now, would that be used in trials like the military tribunals that we've heard about? Yeah, totally. That stuff would be used there. And those people are going to lose their lives. So what they learn, they're like, well, shit, really? You could do that? And they're like, yeah, and more. Yeah, no, you're going to die, so it won't matter. So we're transitioning through this process. They intentionally are ramping up and using everything they got. Everything they got. Because they got one more election coming, and right now, the way everything's looking, they're losing. They're losing their asses. So they got no time. It's now. Also, and this is going to be curious to see who causes this or how they're able to spin this. Because, again, the shutting down of the government is going to be a big deal. And that's already going to get blamed on the Democrats. Again, they're trying so hard to get that popular vote back. And the economy is the big one, right? And if it looks like the Democrats literally, because they want to spend an extra $1 trillion for illegal immigrants to give to them, $1 trillion of taxpayer money, they want to spend that or else we'll shut the government down. Yeah, they're going to lose that argument all day long. And that economy number is going to go way up. It'll be up almost double digits or more. This is happening. We are rippling. This is the point of what we're all trying to do. Did I even talk about the story? No. Turning Point USA chapter requests have skyrocketed. We've talked about this. That's friggin' fantastic. Also, from the shooting inside the church, people talked about Charlie Kirk's, the bullet stopping inside of him. I'm not going to touch that, frankly. There's so many different variant discussions around what actually happened. I don't even want to, it doesn't matter. He died. That's all I know. And anybody that thinks he's alive, I think you're totally wrong. And I think that's horribly disrespectful to say, but that's cool. Like, I get it. That's what got Alex Jones in as much trouble as he got in, by the way. Just careful on that stuff, especially going public with it. Because you can, if you get big enough, they'll come after you. They'll come after you. So just be careful. When you make accusations, you should do your best to demonstrate why you think that, or be very cognizant of saying, this is my opinion, and you'll be a lot better off and safer. That girl, though, she had a bullet lodged in her brain from that dudette, that was shooting inside the church. Remember that one? It just happened recently, a month ago, 5 weeks ago, I think it was. Killed a bunch of kids, and she's actually going to make it. She's having a miraculous recovery. She's got a bullet in her brain, and she's going to live. She's going to live to sing another day. I don't know if she's special or anything like that, and I don't mean that to be insensitive, just simple, sweet, to the point. Kimmel's collapse. I don't want to spend a lot of time on Kimmel, but it's kind of funny. There's a lot of discussion coming from the left, and I want to cover that because I want you guys to at least be as informed as possible. I've worked in radio. I understand the FCC part of it very well. And so I'll cover that. Kimmel's collapse, empty parks, another streaming price hike. Disney's in a tough place. Supposedly Disney World's been kind of empty in some places. I'll be honest. Every once in a while, it's fun to kind of pretend I'm not. I went once with a friend not long ago. I know it pissed people off, but dude, Disneyland is so fucking cool. I can't even tell you. Like, it's so sad. Like, the things that have happened and the children that have been trafficked. I grew up going to Disneyland, man. Magic Kingdom. It is just a remarkable place. It's so sad that Disney's ruined it. And it's just the dark took over Disney. Personally, I'd love to see Disney survive. Man, those movies we grew up, they were all crazy. They had all sorts of crazy stuff in them back in the day. But yeah, Disney is crashing, and it is what it is. Maybe we'll get cooler, museums or parks in the future. I know the Six Flags parks are having a really hard time right now, too. So, yeah, another place that's empty. You should go those. We've got one that's about a 2-hour drive. Disneyland's significantly closer. Knott's Berry Farm significantly closer. But, yeah, whatever. Trump's going to test ABC out. This is kind of the name, or the quote that's running around with the left right now. He's going to test ABC out. We're going to see how this goes. But what Trump's real concern is not all the bullshit, not all the it doesn't the ratings and all that doesn't matter. What Trump's point is, at least as far as pointing out the ratings, and Jimmy Kimmel's ratings are abysmal. Late show, way better than his. Tonight Show, way better than his. Way better. Jimmy's like the third suckiest of this late night group. So on top of that, he's never been that good, ever. And that's probably why he does the crazier stuff that he does, is because that's his audience, right? The regular Tonight Show is probably a hair more centered on reality, while the Late Show is probably a little bit in between, So ratings suck, and that's Trump's point. He's like, look, the ratings suck. Why would they bring them back? That's stupid. But they don't have anything else. I mean, the dude's at least pulling a .16, which isn't good. But they don't have anything else that could probably even pull that. So from their standpoint, they're like, we have to put something on the air. So we're going to put them back. Again, I'm not making any points for them at all. But one of the key things that Trump talks about is the illegal campaign concept. And this comes down to the fact that everything that this show does is left-leaning, is hard on the president, 97% or whatever it is, hard on the president, doesn't ever have Republicans on or conservative voices on, ever. And so, at least on the rare occasions they do, they try to trap them. Certain people have done rather well in those interviews, but again, Kimmel's not a super smart guy. He's not an idiot, though. You don't do this. You can't pull this off unless you've got a little bit of wit about you. So the problem isn't that a network, make sure I'm saying that right. Yeah, network national show. It's not that they, as a network national show, have to have other opinions on. They can completely have an opposite opinion, and it's okay. It's just a left-leaning show. It's a network show. It's not broadcast on the air, except that it is. The affiliates that we keep hearing about, that's all your local stations all around the nation. They actually broadcast from an antenna. They still have an FCC license. They still have to behave. So any totally left-leaning show that they spend on their airwaves needs to be met with an equal and opposite for the other side. It is an FCC requirement. If you allow someone to campaign on your channel, you have to let the other side campaign for an equal amount of time. You have to. If you don't, you lose your license. That is what Trump is going after them for. So anybody that gets into it and starts talking about Jimmy Kimmel, it's not Jimmy Kimmel. It's really not. It's the fact that the show is extraordinarily left-leaning, and it's broadcasting on affiliate stations that actually have an antenna that literally shoot out an FM signal. And because of that, they have to answer to the FCC. I don't shoot out a signal in the airwaves. Therefore, I don't have to answer to the FCC. I am an internet show, so I don't have to follow those rules. But if I broadcast, if I had a stick, if I had an antenna outside, even if it was 50 watts, actually, I don't think anyone would know at that point, but I think it's anything over, I forget what it is. I don't have like a license to do that. I don't want to, frankly. It's a lot of work. But it's like over a certain point of wattage, then you have to have a license. Otherwise, you can kind of get away with it. CBs, you don't need to get an FCC license to operate a CD. But if you amplify the signal to any degree, you do now. Because now you've just got you got a giant ass thing. So all said, this is what a lot of people are freaking out about. Your opinion can be your opinion. I'm just saying. We got Hillary Clinton coming out talking about big pharma and how people are confused and too many people are listening to this very destructive anti-science tirade. Anti-science tirade. Now, first off, I want to point something out very important because we learned this yesterday with the Bhattacharya. I think I'm saying that close to right. There were 27 studies that showed that Tylenol has a direct correlation to problems mentally. 27 studies. And I believe it was Cuomo asked him, yeah, but how many were the other direction? 13. So all these people talking about the science, 27 scientists said, probably shouldn't do that when you're pregnant. 13 scientists said, yeah, go for it. 27 said, don't walk off the cliff. 13 said, walk off the cliff. What is science? To somebody that's science, trust the science. Well, what does that even mean? Ask them, do you know about the Harvard studies and the other studies that they've looked at? There's 27 of them were actually positive that you shouldn't take Tylenol, and 13 of them were the other way around. So now they've got Hillary, of all people, running around. Here's a post from Tylenol. And they've trademarked the name, so we know it's them. Their post back in 2017. We actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. Thank you for taking the time to voice your concerns today. Tylenol even says, don't take our products when you are pregnant. Science? What do you mean? I am very confused. What doesn't confuse me, by the way, is my pillow. I like that transition. Pretty good. Whole different mood shift. I was just a place, right? And now I'm ready to sleep. Best place to get any stuff for your sleepwear, plus some other stuff, by the way. But they've got sleep stuff covered. Not just sleepwear, but sleep utilities? I don't know, whatever. Best bath towels you're ever going to use. They're back in stock, very limited quantities. You're going to love these. You're going to go to mypillow.com/OTF. That's your first step that you got to do. Go to mypillow.com/OTF, or you can actually call 1-800-544-8939. That's 1-800-544-8939. Though it helps to know what you want to order before you call them. But maybe they just want to talk. Who knows? mypillow.com/OTF. You want to check it out because they got the best towels you're ever going to use. They've got these premium My Pillows. These are that box edge, wonderful pillows. They're still doing the closeout on the percale sheets, just whatever's left, whatever size, whatever color. But that's the thing. Any size, any color, $29.88. This is the best buy, especially if you've got larger beds in any way, shape, or form. Like if you've got anything bigger than a twin, if you haven't bought these, you're just nuts. You're nuts. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it to your face. I'll say it to your face. I'll say you're nuts. And if you don't buy a dog bed, I'll probably tell you don't love your dog. Probably will. Actually, out in Houston, had one of the people tell me that I was a little bit, like I made her feel guilty one time. And she was sweet, and she didn't seem to hate me or anything. But yeah, I guess I'm a little harsh on my commercials. Maybe you guys are like, wow, God, dang it. I got like 14 of these things. My dog's got like an entire room full of them. Well, you sure you don't want a double-decker room? Anyway. The slippers, too, they're going away, $39.98. This is a sweet deal. They're going to the new ones soon. I'm going to bet you at the farm they're going to look pretty much the same. Get these while you can. These are Christmas presents while they last, size and colors, right? And, again, they've got the cool ones where you can put the heel in, which I personally dig. Then they got the ones where you just kind of jump into them. And that's what my girlfriend likes. She doesn't like the heel thing. She'll destroy it if I get her one with heels. Just destroys the heel. It's so sad. And the heel never had a chance. Beach towels, 50% off, and they are actually really big. They're like, you hold them, they're like pretty good size. They're big. I mean, they're big. In fact, I've said, if you're poor, I highly recommend you take advantage of the 50% off sales. Get yourself a pillow because it's the best pillow ever. You're going to have the best sleep ever. It's just the way it contorts to your head. A lot of people are like, how can a pillow be so great? The stuffing that's in it, the fact that you can just whoosha, 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 and it's back to like how you first time fell in love with it. Literally just, and then you put it down, put your head on it, and it holds your head exactly where it's at. exactly how your neck and everything is supposed to be. It's just a perfectly made pillow. And for $20, well, less than that. They get pissed off at me for rounding up like that. It's just, all right, $17.98, which it matters for more than $15. I'll try it that way. Whatever. They got the best pillows. You guys should seriously check it out. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. This new energy drink, too. Delicious. 3-pack for free. They're letting people try it out, basically. You just got to pay the shipping on it. And if you buy $100 worth of stuff, I almost wonder you don't have to pay shipping because you're getting free shipping on anything over $100. Get some towels, get a pillow, get some sheets, slippers, like all the stuff. Dog bed, of course. Hello, you need another one. And panjamas. They got panjamas. They've got the little rings that go around the Christmas trees and stuff. They've got so much cool stuff on the outlet sale. They've got blankets. Again, you do not want to miss out on all the sweet deals. They have the best products. The cotton they use is so incredible. mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you have ever had. Yeah, try that on for size. Crazy things going on in the world. Sniper attack. Now, this is extra weird, okay? First off, this is one more example of crazy we think, and there's some really weird information that's coming out around this, okay? So, a couple things. I almost want to go the direction. We'll go this way. This is the way I've got it lined up. For good reason, too, by the way. Sniper attack. So, one thing that's very interesting about this story, just there's a few things that are weird about this story. Again, the facts are the facts, okay? And it's unfortunate. 2 people definitely dead, 1 critically injured. 2 detainees dead and 1 critically wounded earlier. 2 detainees. Not cops. Not ICE members. ICE facility is where they were. It was in an ICE van, I believe. 2 detainees dead and 1 critically wounded. And then the shooter supposedly shot themselves. I just say that because they were supposedly dead on the roof. So 3 people were shot, all of them illegal immigrants. 100% of the shots were illegal immigrants. Then the guy MK Ultras himself. Now, the other thing that's weird, like I said, I've got this highlighted here because everywhere else in this story, no other place in this story, none of the posts. There was a shooting this morning at Dallas field office. Details are emerging, but we cannot confirm were multiple injuries and fatalities. The shooter is deceased by a self-inflicted gunshot wound. While we don't know the motive yet, we know that our ICE agents are okay. Law enforcement facing unprecedented violence, right? But and again, yeah, we are. And they were shooting. They're probably trying to kill ICE people. Probably trying to kill ICE people, though the dude sucked. He shot 3 illegal immigrants. Very sad. Prayers to their families as well. No one dying. It's not cool ever. Assassinations are not okay. Well, it's not really an assassination, but killing people in cold blood, certainly not cool. That is big vote no on that proposition. Everywhere else in this story, nowhere do they acknowledge that the people shot were not cops. In fact, every other part of the story implies that the people shot were cops. The obsessive attack on law enforcement, particularly ICE, must stop. Now, again, he was probably trying to kill an ICE agent. I'm assuming he was. And just, thank God, sucked really bad. I mean, I feel bad for the 3 individuals, the 3 victims. They weren't ICE agents, at least. But multiple people dead. Here's the shooter. I can't tell if he's Hispanic. He looks white to me. He looks like he's maybe rafting or something. Seems to have some sort of vest on. Looks like it's chilly, possibly. But again, I have no idea who John is. It's a very interesting name and spelling of name. One can assume all sorts of crazy things. So this individual, we're finding out, had anti-ICE messages written on the ammo. This individual was able to at least get off 3 shots, or I don't know. I don't know if 1 shot killed 3 people, you know what I mean? Because they're inside a van. So, Shooting through glass is never a good thing, but yeah, whatever you hit. Gunmen opened fire, but supposedly they found on the roof anti-ice. Anti-ice. Like, that's just kind of a weird thing to write on a bullet. I mean, I guess you would. I mean, again, this has, MK Ultra written all over it as well. Again, be careful when you go out in public. Don't be wearing your MAGA hat. Well, unless you're going to a super heavy amount of MAGA people, but if you're going to a overwhelmingly left-leaning thing, I would be very careful. Because you're looking for trouble, and trouble will find you. And it will be your fault. You don't have to brandish things everywhere you go, right? Like, sometimes you can just be undercover. Doesn't mean you're lying. If you get in a conversation with someone, feel free to speak your mind. But when you go and brandish, it's like you're announcing it, right? It's like kind of like someone walking into your neighborhood with an Antifa flag, right? Like, well, we take over this neighborhood. Hell no, you're not. Right? It'll trigger you. So just saying, be careful. You can do whatever the hell you want, guys. You can do whatever the hell you want. I'm just telling you, you got to be careful because just be careful. ICE recaptures the escaped illegals accused of assaulting a female border agent. They got away, then got caught again. So cool. Making some progress there. Tom Homan says 2 million illegal aliens have exited the U.S., insists deportations will explode. They've been hiring and rehiring all sorts of people. The numbers are going up. They've actually got some budgets. What the hell, we'll play this. I like Tom.
We're at over 400,000 deportations and between CBP and ICE, and that's just since the president took office. The first 4 months of the fiscal year, we can't count them because Joe Biden wasn't doing anything. But here's what people need to understand: two things. Number one, over 1.5 million illegal aliens, close to 1.6 illegal aliens already left the country on their own. Why? Because they see what ICE is doing out there every day. One of the reasons we have the most secure border in the history of this nation is because the great work of the men and women of the Border Patrol, the great work of President Trump and his leadership, but also because ICE is out there, over 1,000 teams all across the country arresting people. So a lot of people have left, a lot of people aren't coming, which helps to secure that border. And that was a part of the strategy from the beginning. We said if we show consequences, we show them we're actually out there looking for them, many will leave. So we knew a large population would leave, and over 1.5 million have. But what's to come? ICE is getting 10,000 more agents. Right now they got 5,000 deportation officers. We're tripling the size of the workforce. We're adding more detention beds. We're adding more flights and more transportation. So the numbers are going to explode here this next coming year.
Yeah, and we are just literally doing that. We're making we're just preparing for what's going to continue to come. So there's all sorts of discussions around how we are not maybe getting everybody out yet, but this is a process that's going to take a long time. We're working through a lot of the legal issues, and certainly much of that has happened. Pennsylvania man's charged with labor trafficking. Literally brought 2 girls in from Mexico, both underage, and just kept them on his farm. Forced them to work 16-hour shifts, 7 days a week. Literally slavery. He'd give him a paycheck, but then he'd sign it over to him and his wife. So the chick didn't really get any money. The little bit of food she got was from them. They probably kept her more or less locked up. Slavery still exists, folks. I mean, we've got economic slavery for that matter, all of us, but yeah. Truckloads of anti-scale fencing has arrived at the White House. People speculating it's because Netanyahu's going to be showing up. That would be an extremely good reason to have extra security. My guess is a number of weird things are going to be happening over this period of time, and Netanyahu's visits timed with that. See, we're doing an operation. There's so many people that just think that we're reacting to what's happening. We're not. We're causing most of this. We are setting the pace. This type of stuff just enrages the left. And so there's a big part of us doing it for those reasons as well. Let them have fun chatting about it, that's for sure. Crazy stuff going on with states. IRENA law passed to end cashless bails and restart executions possibly after this Ukrainian refugee's brutal murder. It was so sad. So sad. So they've got, they're kicking off the capital punishment, right? I don't need to tell you guys how I feel about that. All that glitters. Taxes and regulations are tarnishing the Golden State Bed Bath & Beyond, they've talked about how they're going to reopen 300 new stores in the next year. Not one single store is going to be in California. California is a horrible place to have a business. It's a horrible place to have employees. I'll be honest with you guys, like there is no way I could ever hire anyone living in this state. Just the amount of pain in the ass that it creates, literally, the amount of expense. I could hire someone at $100,000 and it would probably cost me an extra 40 or 50 grand a year just to support hiring them. On top of paying their salary of whatever, plus their unemployment, plus their social security, like it literally to pay someone $100,000, it would probably cost me $150,000, $160,000, $170,000 a year with all the crap I would have to do, all the legal loops, all the crap. It's stupid. Like the web guy I have, he's he does some work for me. He's 1099 at best, but he's not even that. Right? See, it's just weird. It's a bummer. It's a bummer. This is not a good place to try to have employees, at least not right now. So Bed Bath & Beyond, they got their new company name. It's Bed Bath & Beyond Home, I think is what they've changed it to. There it is. And so 300 stores. None of them are going to be here in California, which they were a pretty good company. I actually liked them. Something that people may not know about here in California. People are freaking out about it. They're talking about ending free speech. Spencer Pratt is talking about it. I don't know who he is, but it's SB 771, and it's supposed to, the governor's going to possibly sign it in, and it would fine people up to $1 million of offenses of hate. That is not legal. Spencer Pratt, just so you know, bro, it's not legal for California to limit your speech. They legally can't do that. There's this weird thing called the Constitution, and California cannot do that. In fact, it goes against California's Constitution, for that matter. We have free speech in this state. So, no, they have no chance in hell on this. California's, being a Californian, many laws that California passes are kicked down by the Supreme Court of the state because they break the Constitution. They do it all the time. California's famous for it. A lot of states are, actually. So, don't freak out too much. We'll be okay. But, yeah, be aware of it, Californians. California passes a law giving state authority to set its own vaccine guidance. This is, again, they're like, we're going to listen to the science. So we're not going to go with the studies that have been buried by the pharmaceutical companies also. We're not going to look at stuff that's maybe doesn't help the narrative, which you would call malinformation. Instead, they're going to go with the American Academy of Pediatrics. We're going to listen to them, not the CDC. Not the FDA, not our actual federal organizations. We're going to listen to this paid-for group of people that literally are getting money from the vaccine companies. I'm pretty sure. Not 100%. I haven't seen the checks, so I don't know. But pretty sure members of that board are getting paid by the pharmaceutical companies. Otherwise, they wouldn't say that. So California, Gavin Newsom, soon to be, he wants to be the socialist president of the United States. We'll see. Democrat lawmaker sentenced for burglary. Nicole Mitchell, a former Minnesota Democrat state senator and ally of good old communist Tim Walz, sentenced to 6 months in jail for breaking into her estranged stepmother's home. She even had lock-picking tools. Good stuff, man. This chick knows how to bust a lock, man. That's tight. Democrat state foster care system placed children with sex offenders, literally. Maryland, surprised? Yeah, their foster care program has found the system failed to perform adequate background checks, resulting in at least 10 children being placed in live-in homes with registered sex offenders. Yeah, that's all sorts of good. They found foster children were placed with a convicted murderer who was paid to provide one-on-one care for children in hotels. Yeah, good job, Maryland. Mainstream media finally understands the power bill crisis. They're finally figuring this out. Many states in this country are starting to see their electric bills go through the roof because power is going up. And as they bring in data centers, because they want the money, the states do, but they want you to pay for it. And they want to do it through this green power nonsense. So, yeah, a lot of people are starting to realize this ain't working. And we don't care what other people say. This is not working. We're not seeing the ocean levels come up yet. You've been telling that for 40 years, 50 years. Still hasn't happened. I don't know. Maybe it's not really happening, right? And so a lot of people, I think, are going to start pulling back from this because there's a point where you're like, We talk about the price of gas, and that's sort of federally controlled. Electric's not. Electric's 100% state controlled. 100%. The federal government has nothing to do with that. Well, little to do with it. They might have something. I'm sure there's something in there, but little. It's the states. It's the power grids that the states agree to use. In fact, I thought there was a graphic somewhere that was showing all the different places. It's stupid. So yeah, we need to learn. We need to understand. Peter Strzok strikes out in court. They dismissed the former FBI agent's challenge to his termination. Judge Amy Berman Jackson of the U.S. District Court of the District of Columbia publicly released a summary of her ruling. Nothing more than that, but she said the court finds that Strzok's interest in expressing his opinions about political candidates on his FBI phone at that time was outweighed by the FBI's interest in avoiding the appearance of bias in its ongoing investigations of those very people. And it included Hillary Clinton, the investigation of her at that time, and also the Russia collusion investigation was happening simultaneously. And this guy is all over the place on his FBI-issued phone talking about loathsome menace, disaster, idiot, to describe Trump. He said, Trump's not ever going to become president, right? Right? And he says, no, we'll stop it, Strzok replied. Yeah, judge is like, no, you were so damn guilty. Basically, that's not what she said, but it's close. Donald Trump talked about the guilty verdict of Ruth and I will say the one thing that makes it more of an attempt, because I kind of struggled with this because he never shot the gun. I mean, but he did have a round in the chamber, and that I think is like, yeah, you're ready to go. If you're literally ready to go, rock and roll, yeah, that's an attempt. So I whatever. Not that anyone asked, but I was just Trump's happy, and he weighs in on the fact this dude's guilty on all counts. He didn't mention the fact that he almost tried to stab himself in the neck, but fortunately wasn't able to do that. I guess they didn't give him a sharp pen or something. I don't know.
I'm very appreciative of the justice that was given and the way it was handled by Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche and everybody that it's been, and their team of people. It was really well handled, and it's very important. You can't let things like that happen. Nothing to do with me, but a president or even a person. You can't allow that to happen. And so justice was served, and we'll see what happens. But I very much appreciate the judge and jury and everybody on that. It was so professionally handled, and it's a great honor. I'm very appreciative of the justice.
Yeah, we've definitely got a lot going on right now, man. This is just craziness. Arizona Attorney General Mays lost her appeal. She was trying to keep the electors case open. That was dropped. Yeah, the Court of Appeals said, no, we're dropping that one too. So that's not happening. White House Press Secretary. So this whole Escalator snafu thing is, it's kind of blowing up in UN's face. And this does make me wonder if the UN, first off, the UN is a messed up group that we are trying to be cool. Second, they met in New York. They met on American soil and badmouth us and then do shenanigans against our president. There's no way in hell this does not come back and bite them in the ass in a major way. We'll find out exactly how that plays out. I should put my camera back on every once in a while. But yes, we'll find out exactly how that plays out in the near-term future.
It does appear to be sabotage. It does appear to be sabotage with the escalator and the teleprompter. What is the White House going to do about that?
Well, Jesse, that's definitely what it appears to be to me. And that's why I put out a statement earlier. There was some concerning reporting over the weekend from the London Times, as you pointed out, that UN globalist staffers were basically plotting to set up the president of the United States. And first it was the escalator, then it was the teleprompter, and then Katie Pavlich from Town Hall, who we offered a seat in the press pool to cover the president's historic speech today, noticed that the audio inside of the room was much lower and different for the president of the United States than the previous speaker. So when you put all of this together, it doesn't look like a coincidence to me. And I know that we have people, including the United States Secret Service, who are looking into this to try to get to the bottom of it. And if we find that these were UN staffers who were purposefully trying to literally trip up the president and the first lady of the United States, well, there better be accountability for those people. control, and I will personally see to it, Jesse.
Good.
Most likely they'll bomb the UN. No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? I don't know. We don't know. We don't know. We'll see. Could be craziness. Could be all sorts of crazy sauce, and that's not how that's supposed to. There you go. Carolyn Leavitt did put this out today. If someone at the UN intentionally stopped the escalator as the president and first lady were stepping on it, they need to be fired and investigated immediately. The Times reported this on Sunday, and it said, to mark Trump's arrival, UN staff members have joked that they may turn off the escalators and elevators and simply tell him they ran out of money, so he has to walk up the stairs. Which he did. He did, by the way. They're fortunately, like you said, athletic. Now, here is the actual moment when the escalator stops, and it's like immediate, so there's no way this is accidental.
Mr. President, good morning. President Trump.
What is your message in light of the Palestinian? Can you talk about what happened? President Trump, what happened with Chuck Schumer? Are you going to push Zelensky for peace, President Trump? President Trump, Schumer.
That's it. Again, you almost got to wonder why weren't they allowed to go up the functioning escalator? Would have been funny if they're like, back up and then go back up that one, but whatever. He's like, all right, we can walk up some stairs, fuckers. Pretty sure he was saying that in his head. He hates the people. Autism Capital, great channel. They put up some pretty funny memes. They nail it, or pretty funny pictures, and then their take on it's pretty good. But here's a picture, if you haven't, or if you're not able to look at the screen, but Melania just got this gorgeous smile on her face. Nobody else is smiling. Only her. And it's sort of appropriate. It says, when your wife knows that by cutting your teleprompter, they're going to have to listen to you ramble for an extra hour about whatever comes to your mind. Because his prepared speech was taken from him. Pro-cocaine Colombian president racist UN tirade. Most drug dealers are blonde and blue-eyed. Trump needs to be prosecuted. He says this on American soil. The Colombian cocaine lord that he is. Oh, I'm assuming he's into cocaine. I mean, he's part of Colombia. I think you have to be when you come from there, right? Coffee and cocaine, and I think they grow together, frankly. Shit. Whatever. So, yeah, I think it's horribly disrespectful to come to our country and then badmouth us. But, to be fair, doesn't Trump kind of sort of do that when he went to England, and he'll sort of talk truthfully in some different interviews, and then, you know, I mean, he didn't say anything disrespectful or hateful because they'd probably arrest him. Dude, what's going on in UK? We'll talk about it more, but what's going on there's insane. Now, this Russia-Ukraine thing is, this is just crazy talk, what's going on right now. And I think Trump is basically just throwing his hands up, and he's like, all right, fuck you, Russia, fuck you, Ukraine, fuck you, Europe, fuck you, NATO. Think so. And I'll be honest, I support it 100%. A lot of people are like, oh my God, he's breaking everything up. Yep. This is a lot of shitty stuff. NATO does not, they talk about having 3.5 million soldiers, by the way, and they say Russia's got 1.5 million soldiers. So in a numbers game, well, Europe should be able to destroy Russia. And that's basically, Trump's like, all right, you guys want to play this whole let's start World War III thing? Cool, we're going to stay out of it. We don't feel like getting nuked. Right? You guys can if you want. That's fine. We'll sell weapons to you all day long. That's cool. But essentially, we're not going to be a part of this. And so Russia did say something to them that's funny. He says, if a Russian jet crosses into your airspace, you should shoot it down. He says, yes, I do think you should be able to shoot it down. Absolutely. If a Russian jet flies into our airspace, they come off the coast. They get close all the time. That's fine. You're in international waters. No big deal. You're close in our economic zone, as they call it. But you're not in our territory. And we've even got pretty extensive territory outside, I think, 10 miles or whatever. So now, like if they got over our territory, we guarantee you we'd be like, you either turn away now or we are shooting you down. You are not allowed to be over our territory. This just breaks all sorts of rules. So yeah, go ahead, Europe. If they come into your territory, Poland or Estonia, you guys can put down the pipe long enough to stop being stoned in Estonia. I think it's funny, but it's not really. Now, Moscow's pissed because Trump called him a paper tiger. They're like, look, that's not nice. You shouldn't say that. Whatever. And I think the quote was, we're a bear, not a tiger. And I was like, oh, okay. The Russian bear. All these things react well to bullets. Bears don't, by the way. Tigers react well to bullets differently than bears, that's for sure. But, yeah, not good. Not good at all. Trump's Ukraine-Russia comment sparks renewed bid in the European defense stocks. Like all the European stocks, the defense industry stocks, went spiking in one day because Trump said what he said. Like, oh, Trump's on board with a war. No, he's not gonna, we're not paying for it. No, Europe, sorry, we're not paying for it. You guys fucking have a war, man. Go and do what you want to do. Don't bring us into it. Now, if something crazy happens over one of your lands, sure, we got your back, but man, we're not trying to put a no-fly zone over Ukraine, which is what they're talking about now. They have no power to do that. Ukraine's not a NATO country. NATO can't put in and enforce a no-fly zone over a country that's not part of NATO. That would spark World War III. This is what Europe is trying to do. Now, again, it's not Europe. Like I've said before, it's the deep state. Lindsey Graham, being the douche that he is, Russia's a paper tiger. Ukraine's outnumbered 10-1, and they've been kicking Russia's ass. Lindsey, I mean, I don't know how you define kicking someone's ass, but when you literally have lost part of your house to the person that you're ass kicking, I don't know if you've won. I do not think that word means what you think it means, frankly. But they're playing that same game back to Russia. It's like, dude, it's taking you 3.5 years. That's more what Trump was saying. It's taking you 3.5 years, and you're still, really? How big a superpower are you? Holy crap. Really? Like, Trump's already done things. He's like, yeah, we just did one bombing run, and that was it. Or, we've got Iraq. That died quickly. Afghanistan's not really a success, and we've got plenty of failures in our past, so, I don't know, whatever. He's been pretty good lately. Apparently, Poland shot down 4 of these drones, and these were the crap drones, the ones that are meant to like pull extra attacks, waste monies. They're not real drones. The names it's jumping out of my mind, but yeah, these are the crap drones. Why can't I find that word anywhere? I want it so badly. I can't find it. Yeah, they're just the crap fake drones. They're decoys. There we go. Jesus, Lord, have mercy. $2,000 sidewinders were used to shoot these down. They shot down 4 of them. They used quite a few sidewinders. It cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars to shoot down these stupid $2,000 drones with sidewinders. These are styrofoam-made drones. They're just meant to draw extra fire, which they succeeded at doing. And they weren't even legitimate targets. That might have been how they ended up in airspace over there. They were just decoys. They were never real drones to begin with. Nuclear strike exercises happening with France. They're doing some weird thing and running around pretending there's a nuclear war going on. France, one of the only countries that really does have nuclear weapons per se, kind of. But yeah, whatever. Kind of, they're hoping. And a lot of people, they always, of course, wonder if something serious is going to happen when we do have exercises. Ukraine did use one of their little boat drones and blew up a dock here.
Сейчас ебет, по-моему, Ёб мать, хуя себе, блядь. Вот это въебало.
Отлично. Слава богу, что там.
Хер.
I don't know if they hit anything, like, other than the dock. Like, it seems like there's a ship here. That seems like that would have been a higher value target and probably much easier to get to. So I don't know. Maybe they just had one of these. I don't know if this was one of them boat drones or if this was one of their little submarine drones. And they were just trying to get inside and see if they could find something. And they realized, shit, we can't really hear anything in here. This is harder than we thought. We don't have intelligence to help us do this. Let's crash it into the wall. So I don't know. They're trying to mess up Russia. I mean, again, I think Russia's doing better in the war, but they are kind of taking their time, I feel like. I agree with that. I feel like that criticism's fair. India's pretty pissed off right now about the H-1B visas. A whole bunch of people are, freaking out. I get it. I worked with a bunch of Indian people, and yeah. Essentially, to my understanding, The companies typically pay this fee, but yes, this will limit new visas tremendously. If you're here already, I thought they were kind of saying that it's not kicking in yet, maybe in the future, and it's sort of unsure still at this point, but this is freaking people out. DHS is proposing even a new step to this H-1B visa process, which means once they get past the number that they've allowed, so like 85,000 statutory limit, once they get past that, I think, they're allowed to actually start to weigh the demands of the people, meaning you've got like 5 people that are coming in. One's going to fill a call center job at 40 grand a year or 30 grand a year, and another one's going to be to work on a nuclear reactor making 250,000 a year. They're going to let the 250,000 a year guy come in, not the 40,000 a year dollar job to come in. And just to give an example, I mean, that would kind of be stupid to use a call center person in the States. You can do that remotely, but needless to say, So they're going to wait, new weighted system. We'll see how that plays out. House Oversight investigates abuse of retiree pension for progressive playbook strategy. They're just looking into whether or not people's pensions are potentially being spent by states on DEI stuff, on progressive stuff, on company. So again, you don't really know who you're invested in. If you're in a pension, you've got zero to say about it, frankly, but the Congress is looking into at least the state-run ones. Company-run ones, it's up to you to work for that company, frankly, and I get it when you got a retirement or a pension, I should say. Never had one of those, but I understand that would be cool. Farmers, ranchers in 49 states are going to get IRS tax relief due to drought. If you are anyone in any of these 49 states, I can only assume that Alaska is the only one that's not. Like, I don't know. But supposedly all 49 states, drought. So a lot of people, if you have a farm anywhere, or if you know a farmer, make sure they're aware of that. That should be nice. Trump admin seeks 10% equity stake in Lithium Americas. It's a company that's apparently we're going to be spending some money to help them evolve. And I kind of like this new movement. I think this is one of those things that's going to help us in this coming time, where the country, if you need money from the government to do something as capital, then the government gets to somewhat own you a little bit. Now, again, that gets a little sketchy when it comes to like communism and generally controlling production. But when it comes to making sure the American people are paid, does that. So by giving us stock in a company, and then we can sell it at some point and then pay off debt with it, right? Once they've done what they're supposed to do, all right, we're going to sell off our stock. Liquidate that, or you can buy it back from us, however you want to do it. So this is I think, a pretty neat idea. And again, I think this is Trump preparing us for what's coming, right? And we've definitely got some crazy going on. Silver still 44,350. It's down 44,35. It's incredible. It's gone up so much in such a short time. It's fantastic, and it's probably going to go up to about, well, some are saying 50-ish, and I think 80 is probably going to be the next jump at some point, and possibly one more after that. We'll see. I don't know how far we can go before things just crush under their own weight. Gold's down a little bit. It dropped down below 38, but still 37.87. Like, not bad. It'll get back up there. It's going to be the new low, I'm sure. I want to remind you guys again, if you've got a 401k or an IRA, get out of that system. Get out while you can. You're losing money to inflation every day, and you're in a place where the stock market's going to take. The world's dying right now. France is bankrupt. Ukraine, England, Germany's bankrupt. We're a pretty tough place, but we're actually making good strides. Canada's bankrupt. I mean, there's just many of these countries are screwed, and we're not giving away money anymore, and so they're extra screwed. At some point, those walls are going to come down. If you're still in that 401k or IRA, your stocks are going to get hit. Now, if you want to try to ride it out for another 5-10 years after, cool, good job. What you can do is protect your wealth with precious metals. You can do it, move it out tax-free, penalty-free. You can certainly do that. You also are going to get up to 10% free silver, which silver is the thing that's a multiplier. That's got a ways that it's looking to go. There's a lot of utilizations in solar and batteries. There's a number of different technologies. Supposedly, even some of the hyper aircraft or the crazy aircraft we use are using strange forms of silver. So silver's something that's got a lot more usefulness. Now, again, there's a lot of people buying silver right now, and it's a great commodity. It's a great asset. It's a small amount of value for the size and for the weight, but it's a really good amount of value for, one, the change. So you get 100 coins, you get that multiplier. That starts to add up quickly, right? You might only have 2 or 3 gold coins, and that multiplier takes longer to kick in. But silver's kind of going through a little bit of a rocket. So anyways, you want to go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that situation, tax-free, penalty-free, while you can. They're really good at it. DocuSign, best customer service you've ever had. You'll be stoked that you made the decision. Wanted to point out this story because I think it's a trip, and then I did a little dig, just a quick, simple dig, and found kind of what supported my theory. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. But Alzheimer death rates have doubled since 2000. They're showing they're up about 34%, I guess. Since 2000, 17.6. Now they're up 34%, so that's double, right? Up a lot. Now, what did I learn? So I don't necessarily have all the way out to 2023, but I've got something kind of almost better. Statin drugs. Statin drugs are the drugs that are meant to remove cholesterol from the body. There's this new study there, probably a few studies, but they think a lot of the parts of the brain that make memory, cholesterol actually plays a role in that. And so there is this process of thinking that by removing cholesterol from your system almost larger than you should, then you actually create a problem where there's a deficit. And once that deficit occurs, you start to see things where people aren't able to make memories quite the same anymore or hold on to memories like they used to. Some weird facet into that. So statin use from 1988 to 2008, right? And that's all I got, up to 2008. But you're going to see a trend. A trend de agua. It's different totally, but still. So here's in the 45 years and older, 1988 to 94, 2.4%, right? But let's look at the older ages. This is really where the numbers are at. So bottom one, 65 to 74 years, and then 75 years and over, right? These are the bottom two numbers. I'm going to play with these for the whole time. Okay, so 1988 to 94, about the percentage used, 9% of that younger group and 11.7% for the older group of people that were on statin medications. From 1999 to 2002, that number goes from 9% to 29.9%. The higher age group goes from 11.7% up to 33.9%. Then from 25 to 2008, that younger crowd goes from 29.9% to 47.7%. The older group, 33.9%, goes to 43.7%. Statin use is going up crazily. And many are saying this, again, do some studies, we need to look at the science, always. I'm not telling you anything's true or false. I'm just telling you there's studies that suggest. 22 Republican attorney generals call on Trump to fight European Union regulations. I think this is a waste of Trump's time right now. There's a bunch of European Union regulations that are demanding diversity, equity, and inclusion and environmental, social, and governance crap on American companies or companies that are in Europe. To a degree, I mean, Trump should tell them, hey, F off, we're American companies. But if you're doing business in a foreign land, you kind of got to follow their laws. So, again, if you're here on American soil and they're trying to tell you what to do, fuck them. Tell them to fuck off. But otherwise, if you're on their soil... So anyway, I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of a waste of time on that. Europe's got their own problem, that's for sure. And I don't really care too much about companies that are, we're in Europe and we're getting fucked. All right, well, leave Europe then. I get it. I get that hurts, but whatever. A judge who, and this is in England, some Muslim guy got pissed. Some guy made an anti-Quran comment, and this guy decided to slash him with a knife, because that's what you do. And so the guy that slashed the dude with the knife actually they didn't get him in trouble at all. He's from Turkey. He apparently was angered by this, so thusly, it's okay. When Musa Kadri slashes the protester Hamet Koskun, you switch 2 letters there, it's a different word, Koskun. He slashed him with a knife and burned the Islamic holy book. So he received a 20-week prison sentence, suspended for 18 months. Anyway, yeah. Burning the Quran. Yeah, he attacked a prisoner. He's been spared prison. But they sentenced the dude to... Wow. It seems backwards, but it looks like... I'm probably reading this wrong. Anyway, I don't want to spend any more time on it because I fucking don't care what happens in England. No offense, English people out there, but nah. You guys got a problem. You guys got to fight your fight. We'll get there when we're done with our problems, but no, man, we're not. We don't need to spend any of our resources right now trying to fix your guys' shit. Your guys' shit's a mess. Suspect arrested after multinational airport cyber attack. In his 40s. West Sussex in England, connected with the cyber attack that disrupted a bunch of European airports. He worked at he hacked American system that a number of European airports use, and he was able to somehow mess with that. So they were having to write boarding passes manually and some stuff, which sucks. Don't get me wrong, but meh. UK Keir Starmer's government goes all in on digital identity. They are desperately trying to get everybody on the digital ID. Again, they want to lock you down into communism. They're trying to go all forward. They know Trump can only be here for so long, so if they can get you guys far enough along, it won't matter. And then they can take charge of the elections here in the States, and they will have their communist world. Now, they're wrong. That's not going to happen. I'm not sure what you all are going to do about your problems, but I know we're not going to let our situation slide. I think we're just building stronger, and I think that's going to continue. So hopefully you guys are able to hop on the wave and ride it with us. Germany is a good example of the crazy shit you guys are doing in Europe right now. It's kind of why I'm just like, wow, you guys are, I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do. But there was a mayor election, and they literally removed the AfD candidate. The AfD candidate's that conservative candidate. They literally removed them from the ballot. Removed them. That's it. And then only 29% of the voters even participated in the election, but obviously the AfD candidate didn't win. This is what's going on in Germany. Macron, a stupid French leader. Douche is aptly a perfect name for him. He opposes the seizure of frozen Russian assets. He cites respect for international law. No, what he's saying is it would be illegal, it would be a war crime, and Russia might attack us. That's what they're saying as they play their little nuclear war games, please. Former Philippines President Duterte has been charged with crimes against humanity. Literally was. He's finally Rodrigo Duterte. Uncompromising war on drugs. And that's what it was. It was drug users and drug habit, like people that were dealers. And he'd literally just show up. You had a bunch of drugs on you. Dead. That's what they're pissed about. He killed all the drug dealers in an extraordinarily short period of time. And from what I have heard, especially my girlfriends talking about, they love him because it got safe again. It didn't used to be safe. The drugs were controlling the Philippines. Not the drugs and the people buying them, but the drug sellers were controlling the Philippines. Duterte just literally went in and kind of what Trump's doing in Venezuela. Just No, you don't get a trial. You're guilty. There's it all right there. You're dead right here, right now. And that's what happened. And it freaked out people that were involved with drugs. They stopped. I've heard stories of people just literally stopped. They're like, I ain't doing this no more. Nuh-uh. So anyways, war crime. Unwilling and unable. Half of Gaza City refuses to flee as Israel attacks continue in the Gaza area. So Palestinian civilians facing down this situation. Some are not able to go. Some, I guess, are unable to because they feel they can't afford it. I kind of wonder about that excuse. And then others are fearing they'll never be allowed to return. That's highly possible. Highly possible. I don't know how big the original Palestine was, if it was literally the entire size of Israel or if Israel's just part of that Palestine. Don't know. But I do know that Israel was not there before 1913 at all. Zero-ness. Maybe way back when the Bible was written, but somehow they seem to have lost all that land. I don't know why. But it seemed to have belonged to Palestine. Now, again, am I two-state? No, I don't know. I don't know what... I just don't see how that's a good idea per se either. But I think it's still very strange that we just gave this land took it from someone and said, yeah, we're giving it to someone else. Sorry, fuck you. And it expected nobody to be pissed about that. I don't know how that happens. I feel like that's a lifetime of people being pissed. Again, I'm pro-Israel, love Jewish people. Not sure about the deep state because that whole Belfort Accord was not done by just regular stuff. And it wasn't an actual war where Israel just took over the land somehow or infiltrated, or I mean, so I don't know. I don't know. Trump loves them, right? So I kind of feel like I got to tailor that a little bit. I don't know. That's where I'm at with that. I don't know about you guys. You certainly make comments. That'd be cool as hell. Nebraska sues Lorex for baby monitors, home cameras, marketed as private, but they're not. They got CCP ties. All this data, these are internal cameras. People have these cameras they've gotten from Costco and some other dealers, and they are sending the data back to China. So you've got a camera in your bedroom, which is a stupid place to put a camera, by the way, and you're walking around naked. I got nothing to hide. Well, that's going to whatever time you've got a camera or anything like that, and it belongs to another company, they receive the video. They hold the video, right? The video's not going into some hard drive you've got in your house. Then somebody's got access to those images. So walking around naked anytime with those things is not good. Baby monitors and stuff like that. So again, they've got an interesting lawsuit. I'd be curious to see where that actually goes. Zero Hedge put out a great article called "If AI is a Weapon, Why Are We Handing It to Teenagers?" That's an excellent choice, excellent question. And I'm going to say, here's the thing. The applications that teenagers were using prior to AI getting involved was controlled by an algorithm. That algorithm was programmed constantly. That algorithm was very, very controlled and monitored. That algorithm did exactly the same thing, except AI is able to kind of choose between different algorithms, I think, and sort of adjust. So it's a little more apt for sure, but this is a little more dangerous than people are just making a big damn deal. Like AI has changed everything. Nah, AI is actually proven to not be that great yet. But it is from the standpoint of serving us up media, serving us up commercials, serving us up stuff on platforms. It's getting better. It's getting much better. And it learns our individual behaviors rather well. So you've got kids on social media heavily. You've got kids that are already emotionally damaged. And many would say, well, what do we do then, Dan? Well, you don't let them continue to do it as much as they do. Take control of your child's life. Take their damn phone away from them once in a while. I don't give a fuck if they cry. Oh, you're the worst dad in the world. All right, well, I'm the only dad that loves you, at least. And I'm still keeping your phone, so fuck off. You never say that to your child, but yeah. Right? Or at least you shouldn't, I would assume. That's why I don't have kids. But yes, this is a problem that exists. And parents, you need to be involved in your children's lives. Stop expecting everybody else to make it safe for your child. That isn't going to happen. Your child will be exploited every single step of the way. And if you're not protecting them and teaching them what to look out for, they've got zero chance. Zero chance. So stop putting the power in other people's hands. Fucking raise your kids, man. I get it, it's hard. But stop letting your iPad raise your child. Or pay way the hell more attention to the programs they're playing and literally play it with them for a lot and just watch for like 30 minutes. And just see if you see any weird shit in there, because you will most likely. And if not, it's the flick rate, it's the colors, it's programming. It's programming. CIA's behind a lot of those applications. In fact, that Angry Birds game supposedly CIA originally created. Yeah, play with that one. Go down that rabbit hole and see what happens. NASA did a cool little launch today. They used the Falcon 9 to do it. They kicked off 3 satellites. The NOAA, and I don't know if I can find it was cool when they were showing some of the snapshots. Let's see if we can play some.
One's coronagraph observes
quiet. But yeah, you can see some cool images while they're out there. But NASA and NOAA, they launched 3 observatories: the IMAP, the Caruthers GeoCorona, and the SWFO L1. These all went up on a Falcon 9 from Kennedy Center. Very, very cool stuff, by the way. And I don't know, I guess this is well past when they finally let them all go. But they let them go at separate altitudes, separately. It was just kind of cool. And they did some cool images that somewhat of a fisheye lens, but still, you can tell the Earth's got a roundish look to it. And we're also orbiting other planets. So there's a lot of information we have to ignore and say they're making up for us to believe some stuff that I think maybe is got some challenges to it. But whatever, it's cool. I can't prove it either way. I mean, other than some of the stuff they offer us, but meh. It's not worth the fight, that's for sure. I love you guys, no matter what you believe. I love you. I'm not trying to fight it. And please don't try to change my mind. You're not going to. You're certainly not going to. Have I seen? Yes, probably. I've seen a bunch of stuff. No, don't worry. We'll get through this together somehow. Maybe it's flat in the reality you live in. That's very possible. So there might be some different paths that exist for people. This is one thing I'm starting to toy with, you know? Like some of us might actually be on different timelines to a degree, or different realities that are maybe slowly shifting. I don't know. We got some strange choices that are coming, definitely. There's definitely some bad people that are not going to be allowed to stay here. And I feel like there's two sides of the positive group of us, if you will. One side wants to very much let AI interface with its humanness and take away its humanness. There's a whole bunch of people that want to do that. I think it's disgusting and horrible, and I will never do it. I don't even have tattoos. I don't even want to do that. I'm just cool. God made me the way I am, and that's good enough, right? I was fine with that. We have this other group of people, though, that have this more spiritual connection and believe that our humanness or our true nature is actually what's amazing and far surpasses any sort of technology could ever do. In fact, technology could never hold a light to something with a soul, because we have this perception. We've got extrasensory stuff, and machines don't. They don't have souls. They don't have that ability to get outside of themselves and be able to see. They just don't have the ability to do that. They can only accept what's physically here, what's actual reality, not what's not necessarily visible. We'll always be more powerful as the spiritual beings that we are, right? We're spiritual beings having a human experience, and we're not the other way around. But there are a lot of people that are going to go down that tech path. Again, I think that's a separate path that people are literally going to somehow wake up in a new reality, and that'll be part of what they do. So who knows? Maybe that's the one that's got a flat earth. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I feel like the planet that we're supposed to be heading towards is supposed to be more of a Star Trek future. We're supposed to be having visitations from people that aren't from here, and that would imply that we're not a flat pancake, but probably more of a solar system with planets and stuff like that. Who knows? Who knows? We'll find out. A lot's going on, guys, and we're all trying to get through this together. Again, we're not going to agree 100% on everything, but we do on most, right? I think that's the important part. I love you guys. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.